Well, good morning, guys, and welcome to the show, Fernando.
Welcome to the show, guys.
Today we have the much anticipated Boss Elite Series amplifiers, or just Elite. They sent us these to check out, validate, and see if we liked them. And we're like, yeah, sure, send them to us. We'll take a look at it. And they make 4 of the amplifiers. They have 2 mono blocks, a 4-channel, and a 5-channel. Today we are going to be looking at this guy right here, which is the 4-channel. Now, as far as the rest of these are concerned, we will be digging deep into these. But today, I thought we'd start with the 4-channel because everybody always starts with the mono blocks. And well, this just seems like more fun. Now, as far as boxes go, it's a nice box. They do the cool, shiny, like sticker approach here to the Elite that really makes it pop off of the otherwise flat box. They have the nice Elite logo. 600 watt, full range, 4-channel, Class D, part number BE600.4. So we know this is going to be at least 600 watts. Flipping it around to the end of the box. Features full range 4-channel Class D, high pass and low pass filters from 50 to 250 hertz, bass boost 0 to 12 dB, bridgeable, MOSFET power supply, thermal, short, and overload protection circuit, RCA or speaker level inputs, low level input voltage 400 millivolts to 4 volts, high level input voltage 4 to 40 volts. 100 watts RMS at 4 ohms, 150 watts RMS at 2 ohms, and if we bridge it, 300 by 2, getting us at 600 watts. On the back side of the box, they give us the cool little breakdown schematic, which I do really enjoy. I like this because when the amplifier gets installed in a place where it's hard to see, it's always nice to be able to have a reference that you can look at to find things. On the other side, they just have all the power ratings in different languages. And they have some stickers, Class D, 2 ohm stable, LED illuminated end panel light strips, ooh, bass boost. Let's open this thing up and see what she looks like. First thing when you open it, owner's manual, fuses and screws. Convenient QR code on the back, which is always nice. A lot of manufacturers are doing this. Get involved. This will probably take you off to their website, possibly an email. And then of course they have all the socials here on the bottom. Flipping into the book, package contents, how to mount it, safety instructions, how to utilize the RCAs slash high level inputs, how to hook up your plug, why you need a fuse, and then some more ratings on the back, as well as a troubleshooting for no power, LEDs, no sound, low power, distorted sound, and so on and so forth. Gives us some more specifications here on the inside of the owner's manual. It reiterates the power, tells us that we're at 2 ohm stereo, 4 ohm bridge, total harmonic distortion is less than 2%. Frequency response is 10 to 20,000 hertz. Signal noise ratio is 90. Talks about input sensitivity. This is kind of important. This is telling you that pretty much any car on the road right now, you don't need to sell a high level to low level adapter for unless you want to, because this will take 40 volts of input. Most factory radios put out somewhere under 10 volts. Talks about the high and low pass crossover, the bass boost, general power supply. Current consumption is 70 amps. So if you're looking to put a fuse underneath your hood, plan on getting at least a 70 amp. And then the size of the amplifier, which we'll take a look at once we get to it. Pulling it out, they tuck all their little accessories into their foam ends. So we have 2 bags here on one end, pull the foam off, flip it over. We have another bag on this end. This feels like the power inputs. Ooh, one nice thing that you have here is the instructions located on the bottom of the amplifier. This seems kind of silly, but it could be very important in the sense that if this amplifier lives a long life and somebody acquires it, they don't know how to use things, it's right there, so you don't have to worry about it. Let's take a closer look at all these little bags. First little bag, we have the power plug. One of the nice things about this amplifier is that everything just plugs into it, so you can mount it and then just click everything into place. There's no screw down terminals or anything like that. Now there is a screw down terminal, oddly enough, on the power plug. Power plug does go in with the screw terminals facing down though, so make sure you take that into account. First little bag is going to be our speaker wires using standard colors, white, gray, green, purple. Second bag is going to have our RCA slash high level input. And what I mean by that, pull the little twist tie off here and spread it out. You have the little knuckle here in the center. If you're going to be doing using a high level. If you look at the drawing on the back, they're telling you where to cut this so that you can do high level inputs. So you just basically come in here. If you'd like to reattach them, come down here, you know, and then save these for later, or just cut them right here, and then you'll have a bunch of room to use it. Let's take a look at the ends of the amplifiers. The amplifier is split into two sections, channels 1 and 2, channels 3 and 4. And they are slightly different because channel 3 and 4 will be the channel you'd want to connect your subwoofer to. That being said, filters are located on corresponding corners. If you go to the left, it is high pass. If you leave it in the center, they are full range. And if you go to the right, they are both low pass. Right beneath that on both sides is your crossover dial between 50 and 250 hertz. Moving in one on channel 1 and 2, you have your min-max level control, but on the right side, you have your bass boost, 0 to 12 dB. Then you have your min-max for your gain control. And then you have both of your input plugs located here in the center, and it tells you that by saying input here on the bottom. The plugs that it come with will simply plug in. Now you can't get these wrong because they are two different sizes. The input plugs are smaller than the output plugs. You don't have to worry about that sort of an accident. Flipping it around to the other side, now we have our two output channels, and it does denote what is bridged. Here you have channel 1 on the top, channel 2 on the bottom. It goes positive negative, and then it goes negative positive, and both of them here on the left side of the amplifier are going to be your bridge configuration using the white positive and the gray black negative. The same is true for channels 3 and 4. You're going to use your green and your purple black for bridge. Green is on top, positive negative, negative positive. And when we look at our clips, they're set up like so, drop it into place and push, and there you have it. Then we have our main power input utilizing 3 flat heads on the bottom. It'll take up to what looks like an 8 gauge all the way across the board. And then it is labeled 12 volts, remote turn on, and ground. Now, one of the things that intrigues me about this amplifier is the red line that goes around both ends of the amplifier. It looks too sexy. According to the box, it lights up. Let's take a look. We've added some power to the bottom of the amplifier. Let's turn it on and see what she looks like. Oh yeah, look at that. It does light up. It also has a blue power indicator on the other end, and this end also lights up red. Very nice. I like lights. One thing we didn't mention is the red protect light located down here below the nice blue light. If this was lit up red, that means we did something wrong, or possibly something is wrong with the amplifier. Could be these two 35 amp fuses that are located right here. Now that we know it's got the cool pretty lights, how big is this thing? Heatsink, we're looking at 9 inches. If we go all the way out to the tips, we're looking at about 9 3/4. Look at the side here, we're at little maybe 4 5/8. Height wise, we have 1 3/4. This is definitely their compact series. It also has a 3-year warranty, but aside from that, let's do the one thing that makes the warranty kind of questionable, and that is we're going to pull this sticker off and we're going to open this thing up and we're going to see what she looks like on the inside. It looks like to do that we have to remove some screws here and possibly some screws here on the end plate. But don't worry, let's take a look. And there you have it, the inside of the Elite amplifier. They put Elite on the circuit board, which is pretty nice. It does have one board here on the top. This is for all of your inputs here. And well, yeah, there you go. For you guys that like to see the insides of the amplifier, zoom in. We'll let it just kind of sit here for a second so you can really soak it in and absorb everything that you like about it. Now, what we're gonna do next, once we put this top back on it and you guys are done staring at this, is we're gonna take it over the dyno and we're gonna see what kind of power we're gonna get out of this. Now, one of the things that's cool about this amplifier is when they sent us the information on it, it actually came with dynos already done. They've already dynoed these amplifiers because their main concern with these amplifiers is that people will say, oh, you know, false power ratings and all that other silly stuff. So they pre-dynoed it and they're like, hey, do you guys want to dyno it? And we're like, I mean, sure, you've already done it, but they want validation. So we're going to take it over to our dyno to compare it to their dyno. But either way, you guys get to see a cool dyno vid now. Let's check it out. Certified dyno run 4 ohms. And that gets us 128 and 129. Let's do a certified dyno run at 2 ohm. That got us a 166 and a 172. So far so good. This thing is doing overrated power. Let's move on to uncertified 4 ohm. 126, 129. Next is 2 ohm. And that got us a 219 and a 232. Next up, dynamic power run 4 ohm. And that got us a 120 and a 127. Let's try it at 2 ohm. And that got us a 205 and a 220. Not bad for a 150 watt amplifier. Let's bridge the amplifier and see what we can get out of it running at a 4 ohm mono load. Certified dyno run. That got us a whole bunch of power, 408 watts, and it's only supposed to be 300. Let's try it at uncertified. Uncertified comes in at 406. Next up, dynamic power run, 4 ohm. With a whopping 412 watts. Very nice. Well, there you have it. It does its power. It is a little beast, and it is little. It's tiny. It's so cute. I love the red lights on it, and I love the fact that it actually does what it says it's going to do. So for all you doubters out there, they're like, there's no way. We hope you enjoyed this. If you're anxious to see the other 3 amplifiers, please let us know in the comments, and we will expedite those and get those out for you so you can kind of see if you've been looking at this going, is this what I want? Maybe it is now that you've seen this. Spectacular. Fernando.
On to the next one, guys.
You guys have a great night as always. We'll see you later next time.
Bye.
Bye.